Welcome back to the channel, joined by a good mate of mine, Collin Morikawa.
What up, Truddy?
He's claiming he's sick, and he's claiming this isn't his actual bag, but it's pretty close. Tell us what isn't yours first.
This 60, messing around with grinds. I've actually used the Tiger grind, Tiger wedge MG4 for about a year and a half now. But I was just curious, so I put it in the bag since I had a couple weeks off. Probably will go back to the Tiger grind.
That's a high bounce.
High bounce, so wider sole. Wanted to try something very wide.
Okay.
See how that reacted.
And why?
Just curious.
Okay.
Just to tick that box to say, I see other guys playing a wider sole. What is it doing? How does it react when I hit it? But after a few shots today, you kind of know. Probably not the right one.
Okay.
I also have this MG4, TaylorMade MG4, 46 degrees, so pitching wedge. Something I just wanted to try. Like I've been hitting my 50 degree really well, and the transition into my pitching wedge hasn't been as good. So I figured, why not try something that looks a little bit more similar to the 50 degree. So we actually haven't hit that many shots. Got it yesterday. Gonna see how that goes. And
what will the testing process be when you get back to Vegas with that and your set?
Just more distances. Just more, okay, do I find the center first of all, but also just more distances. Does it hit my numbers that I want? Does it feel like I can hit my shots? I've heard, you've told me that some guys do spin it a little bit more. That's probably not something I crazy need with a pitching wedge, so we'll see how that goes, but that'll be a quick process. And then still testing out the Qi10 driver, messing around with a bunch of different lofts, lies, face angles. So right now, we've got 10.5 degree head all the way on lower, so it's gonna open it more. Have the weight all the way on the heel just to kind of even that out. So we're just messing around and trying to get the launch and spin correct. Still a little bit of a process with that, but it's been a fun process kind of testing new clubs. I think it is anytime.
You hit a great one down here, but you're still putting that into work. Now you're talking about spin rates in your hand or pocket. You got a golf ball. Tell us the story now. Back into the TP5, you think, for this year? Yeah,
I think so. I've been playing this kind of harder ball, the TP5X, and with that, it's going to launch a little bit higher and it's going to spin less. That's kind of what you get. You're going to get max distance. But for me, I'm not someone that really wants to spin it less. I want to spin it more. I want to be able to work the ball. And what I've kind of noticed is that my cuts haven't been cutting his back as much. Yes, some of it is my golf swing. I will take credit for that. But it is sometimes nice to have a little bit more spin. I mean, some of the best players in the world like to have spin to control their golf ball, and it's nice to know that a ball that's going to spin maybe 200 RPM more with irons could kind of bring that cut back and maybe bring me 10, 15 feet closer.
So you mentioned spin between the 46 and the mill grind 4 and your pitching wedge. I noticed you go 9, 8, 7 in the P730, then you switch into the MC. Do you see a difference in spin rate when you go head type to head type, and how do you come over that if you do? How do you conquer that?
I actually don't, but if I were to see a little bit of difference, all I would do is just kind of bend the loft. I realize there's a nice process of having every club perfectly equal. I came out on tour and a lot of my clubs were just kind of all over the place, but it's because I kind of knew the numbers I was hitting, the gaps I needed to hit, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're 7 irons X loft versus Y loft, right? All it matters is are you hitting your windows, are you hitting your distances? And for me, that's all I care about. So for me, the 6 and 5, the reason why I go into these MC irons is because I want a little bit more launch. Out of the blades, I don't get the forgiveness. I don't get the mishits, and the mishits from 200 yards could be drastic with a blade for me. So I wanted to see something launch a little bit higher, was a little bit more forgiving, but still had that look, and that's what I got out of that.
I'm going to get into launch again in a minute, but I noticed the 7, 8, and 9. If we look down the blade, you've done some grinding on the camber there.
Yeah, I did that when I was swinging poorly, so I actually have been thinking about going back to just the traditional 730, but I did that just because it was digging a little bit too much. It was kind of getting a little bit stuck, and the guys on the truck just said, why not try it? And it was enough for me mentally to say, okay, this is a little bit different. Let's see how this goes.
Then the next thing that gives launch, and I noticed it, is you've got, although I've not also just seen here a difference, but you go dynamic gold in the 7 and then this mid from the 6 up.
Yeah, launch. Again. I want to be able to swing my swing and have the golf ball go where I want. I mean, that's everyone's goal, but I just wanted something that launched a little bit higher. Once again, from 200 yards, if we're landing into a par 4, you don't want the ball coming in like a wood, coming in flat. So this was just able to add a little bit of height with the launch, but same feel.
Then this practice bag that you bought here today has 2 woods in as well. I know it's your Old Baby and the Sim. And then you've got the 5-wood Qi10. Are these obviously these in? Like what's the situation?
Yeah, these
here?
are fully in. These have been in all year. This has been in for quite some time, but this 5-wood has been phenomenal. I had one early in the year that it was spinning a little bit too much, but this one has earned its right in the its spot in the bag, just because the spin is so consistent with this 5-wood. Like, it is always within kind of that high 3,000s to low 4,000s, but I'd say the dispersion of spin is only about 400. So it's very consistent with when I'm hitting it. I know what distances I'm going to be hitting it at.
And you gave us a nugget earlier. You feel that with more loft in a fairway wood, you can draw it a little bit.
Yeah, just because like you don't feel like you're gonna have to loft it up. You don't feel like you gotta swing up on it or get it lifted up. 5-wood's got enough loft that you can visually see, that you can trust that the ball's gonna kind of go up in the air.
One last thing before we get into the flat stick, and I want to just finish on that. Grips on the wedges are the right way round, meaning that the logo is on the top, and then on the irons you have the grip backwards. There was a theory behind that too.
Yeah, I've done a lot of my grips. I mean, I have different wraps for a lot of my irons and versus woods, but I kind of put the logo up.
Different wraps on irons versus woods.
Just feel like graphite shafts, steel shafts, shorter clubs, longer clubs. I just wanted certain feels in my hands, and we've been able to kind of come up with a formula. But I like logo up on the wedges just for distance control. So if I want to choke down, that's really how much I choke down. It's about an inch, just over an inch, and then I kind of grip for full shots.
Does that change speed of club speed? Or?
Just more just distances. Like, I've got my 75-yard shot, 85-yard shot, 90-yard shot with certain parts of my golf club, and with my irons I don't really do that because I don't really need it. I kind of just feel it, and I use more curve for distance control with my irons versus wedges.
More of a straight hit because of the spin loft. And then this thing, I mean, mate, I've gone through the wars with you with this as well. You seem real happy with this.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
it.
I'm very happy with this head. I mean, it's a very basic, simple TaylorMade, what is it, the Soto blade. Top dot sight line, so very
Mallets
simple.
You've toyed around with, but back to blade.
I've tried everything, Trotty.
Yeah,
but I've been happy. I've stuck with this head for over a year now. I know I don't line up a line that well, so dot's been great, just kind of aiming the face. Shaft was, I think they're going to start making these shafts, but it was a custom shaft for me. Just a graphite shaft.
The ticket here?
That's just, I've got a couple others. But just a graphite shaft that I could feel, but also have the stability, what you get out of a graphite shaft. So the feel of a steel, stability of a graphite, and then I've kind of gone to this counterbalance as of 3 days ago.
But you said you liked it.
I love
really
it. Look, my stroke, mechanically on all the data stuff, on my putting plates, mechanically my stroke is good. But speed, we talked about it in other videos, like speed is key. Speed is king. Speed is what matters the most. Doesn't matter if you're offline, whatever. You can push putts. As long as your speed is good, you're going to be putting fine for the week, at least where you're not losing shots. And I just felt like I wasn't really having the same tempo with my kind of normal length putter, and my putting coach asked, if I wanted to try a counterbalance. I almost went to it during the playoffs that I liked, and so we've kind of gone to this, and it's been good so far through testing.
There you have it from the man himself, Collin Morikawa, a detailed look into what is in his golf bag. Shaft-wise, he's still in all that Diamana stuff, but at the end of the day, nothing changes without him putting it through its paces. That's what I always take whenever I'm around Collin, other than his cool, calm presence for these videos, which is fantastic. Thank you to Adidas. Anything that you want to know about them is down in the description. This wouldn't be happening without them. So thanks, guys, and Collin, good luck, mate. I no doubt I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Trotty.